So, Dr. Gushee, tell me, when is your first memory of having any type of personal realization about civil rights, anything that was happening in our country as you were a young adult, or on your own personal journey through your education? And what was it that first gave you an inkling of the reality of our country?
Um, Surely I had known about and read a little from Martin Luther King, but it was in seminary at the master's level when I was 22 that I discovered the discipline of Christian ethics, taught to me by two white professors, both of whom I really appreciated. Um, Glenn Stassen, who became my dear friend, mentor, co-author, um, talked a lot about race, and his paradigm was fundamentally the Martin Luther King civil rights, nonviolent civil disobedience paradigm. So I read by the beginning then an awful lot about the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King. And I think I also imbibed um, a hopeful narrative that America's bad history with racism had taken a serious dent with the civil rights movement, that, or even that the worst was behind us, and that church-based, ethics-based, theology-based Christian civil disobedience and activism and organizing had been the main way that had happened. So King was basically treated as an icon of Christian ethics, and his strategy of religiously infused civil disobedience was seen as the way you make change happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that was where it started for me.
And this is a funny question, but did you believe it at first? Yeah, I mean, what was your
Yeah,
process
I absolutely believed it.
processing this? Like, for white people, who grow up without any Black or brown people in their schools or churches and communities, I know sometimes like there's this process of awareness growing. What was it like for you?
I would say I did have a few Black colleagues in that student body at Southern Seminary, but it was still overwhelmingly white. There may have been one Black professor, but I don't think I had him. So I think all the way through master's level, I'm still dealing with an all-white teaching staff experience pretty much.
So you're getting this story through the lens of white people looking at history.
Yeah. And I would hone it in even further to say kind of semi-optimistic white liberalism
Mm-hmm.
that has a story that, America has this awful history, um, but it was a violation of the true meaning of America. And the I have a dream, you know, type MLK vision was deeply inspiring. I still get trembles whenever I hear that recording or see it. Um, but I now realize it that kind of education did not involve wide reading in Black sources other than King, and it did not involve uh, imagine a classroom where half the students were Black or brown, and they were saying, in 1986, let's tell you what it's really like even now, right? Um, so so I'm aware now that I believe now that vision was over optimistic, and the idea of a good country flawed by racism but correctable with tremendous progress made in the civil rights movement was the vision that I came then to doctoral work in New York with.
Hmm.
There to be disabused of that notion fairly quickly, I think.